December 23rd, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Supervisor Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Councilwoman Freeman.
Present.
Councilman Pudicone.
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
And Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. We will move into public input. If someone wants to get the sign-up sheet. Maria's got it. Thanks, Maria. We also have a public hearing at 7:35. Two public hearings, actually. Thank you. You have, just a reminder, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address when you approach the podium. So Larry DeMayo, you are up first.
Larry DeMayo. I live at 34 Delta Terrace in Somerville. I signed up to talk about a message that I wrote to the County Board of Elections, but I decided instead to take this time to express my appreciation for his leadership to Rory Fitzpatrick on behalf of my wife as well. So I just wanted to take this time to do that. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Very nice. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Marcia Enright.
Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Marcia Enright. I live at 75 Clay Avenue. I don't live in the town of Arundequoit, but my family does. The preamble says, the preamble to our Constitution says, we are ensured peace and domestic tranquility. Domestic is where one's domiciled. It's where we live, where we pay our taxes. We call it home. So I think one should be able to have a peace and tranquil home. Short-term rental seems to end that fact. If you ask Chief Peters, he's going to tell you if you see something wrong, you see something off in your area, call me so I can alert my patrol to keep their eyes open. With short-term rental, nothing's normal. Short-term rental is day-to-day people in and out, repair people, cleaning people, in and out of the house next door. There's just no normal. What would you call them about? Short-term rental, after a 7-month study, it's nothing short of real estate racketeering, allowing absentee owners to bypass New York State landlord-tenant laws, portions of the $10,000 real estate personal income tax cap, and each vendor will only mail you a 1099-K when you've reached $20,000. The lady that spoke last month and said 600, it's not it's a third-party 1099-K. These people become the gingerbread man. Catch me when you can. I do realize this is not the only thing you got in your plate. I get it. You got a town to run. I see no reason for it to take 1 year moratorium to make a decision on this. You have a staff available to you. You have legal access to you. I see no reason for a year. I thank you for your action on the motion. Wish you all a Merry Christmas. If you don't vote no on it, I hope Santa brings you a short-term rental next door.
Thank you. And just for record, be clear, the 1 year is the maximum. It can be done shorter than that and has to go through public hearing. So the 1 year is just a maximum. That's not how long it should take. So thank you for that. Up next, we'll have Mark Holiday. Not here. Tammy?
Hi, my name is Tammy Haldo. I live at 39 Schneckle. I almost didn't come because I think I've pretty much said everything that I can say on this matter, but I did decide to come because this week we had a huge blow up with the people next door to a point where he was willing my husband to come over and punch him, and he said, "Come on my property, I dare you." It got back and forth to a point of almost physical, which my husband completely stayed on our patio, and he's like, "Are you just out here to watch me?" He's like, "I'm out here on my patio." And he like I said, it almost came to that with him screaming, so that's the only reason I did come today. I just want to let you know that I appreciate that you are taking the time to handle this as fast as I'm sure that you can. I did send in an email. Our ultimate hope is that you don't let it happen. If it does, 28 days would be what we would prefer. I also said, if we want to come to an actual middle ground, maybe they can only rent it out 15 of the 30 days of the month. Maybe not all 30 days. Maybe there is no 2 days, because that's definitely when it's really tough. It's every 2 days, a cleaner, then every 2 days, and a cleaner, and every 2 days. That gets really very tiresome. Maybe they can only rent to 2 people. And I hope that you are, if you do say yes, that you're trying to come to a middle ground so I can have some kind of peace next door. And I do worry that you're not going to be able to set enough restrictions. Like, I own a private road, and these people are coming on my road that I own. And it's a easement in front of my house on top of it. But the actual road I upkeep with my money, and then these people are using it for their Airbnb guests to come down, and they're not paying any extra anything for the upkeep of the actual road. Like I said, that's a private road that happens to be on my land. Again, I thank you for your time, and I know that this has been a lot for you guys to handle. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Okay, next up, Mike Nolan.
Good evening, Board. Mike Nolan from I-Square, offices at 400 Bakers Park. I'd like to speak to you tonight about your lawsuit against I-Square. I don't believe that you're getting completely accurate information from the town attorney. She continually describes me as resisting, combative, and other terminologies that make me seem hostile in some way toward the town, even though we've never met and never had an in-person conversation of any sort to give her a reason to base that on. She repeatedly stated that I have rejected and rebuffed the plan that was provided to resolve the issues between the town and I-Square. I've never seen a plan, and I don't believe one even exists. If it does, I would love to get a copy of it. Last week at the workshop, she provided you an update on the litigation, and tonight I came prepared to give you a more accurate update about the litigation hearing that happened. The hearing was called a TRO conference. That is a temporary restraining order conference that the town summons me to. In attendance at that hearing, which was a virtual hearing, was a state Supreme Court judge, 5 attorneys, 3 of them representing the town and 2 for I-Square, but 5 attorneys there for this phone call. The town supervisor was on the call. The deputy town supervisor was on the call. Code enforcement, Mary Warner, was on the call. The new fire marshal was on the call, and myself. That's 11 people. Estimated cost for this meeting is over $10,000. $6,000 in attorney fees with preparation and the hearing. The outcome? Install fire lane signs along the driveway of the Brookside cottages. Cost of those signs? $130. So the town took I Square to New York State Supreme Court in a temporary restraining order process, which should be saved for truly pressing issues, spent a ton of money to have us put up a few signs. A little history on the signs. We've never had a request from the town to put up fire lane signs. We've never been requested, never been discussed, and was never brought up in any of the 3 fire marshal very thorough inspections that they did of our property. So out of the blue, all the way from not sending a letter, not making a phone call, not taking the normal town process, taking it to a temporary restraining order at the state Supreme Court. If this court case continues, it will likely cost I Square and Arundequoit taxpayers somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000.
Okay, Mike, if you could summarize, your time is up.
I would like to be included in January's workshop meeting so we can have an open and candid two-way conversation. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Andre Evans?
Good evening. Andre Evans, 351 Barry Road, Arundequoit, New York. First, I want to wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Holidays. I want to thank the board for its service and commitment to this community. What I'm here to do is to ask for one thing. I haven't had the privilege of having contact with the members of the board in depth. I request that the appointments be set aside for tonight and be done on the January organizational meeting. The reason is, my intent is to design the board so it can further reflect the greater community, especially women's voices and other voices that have not been representative in our community for both the planning and zoning board. I recognize that you have the right to do whatever you want. You're the ruling board right now. It is a request from me that those appointments be pulled to allow us to redesign a board that reflects the full community going forward. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Okay, that's the rest of our registered speakers. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak at this time? Okay, at this time, we'll be closing public hearing. We will move on to financial report. Madam Comptroller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The 2023 financial results as of November 30th. 91.7% of the year has elapsed, and the town's total expenses, actual expenditures, and encumbrances of $35,996,000 are lower than budget at 82.8%. Actual expenses are $34,298,000, or 78.9% of budget, while encumbrances are $1,698,000, or 3.9% of budget. The general fund total expenses of approximately $22,435,000 are below budget at 81.7%. The actual expenditures total $21,513,000, or 78.3% of budget, and encumbrances are $923,000, or 3.4% of budget. Encumbrances within the general fund include EMS service contract, general street lighting, and legal fees. Overall, the expenses of the 3 highway funds are $6,388,000, or 97.7% of budget, higher than the 91.7% of the year that has elapsed. Actual expenditures of $6,007,000 represent 91.9% of budget, and encumbrances total $381,000 and account for 5.8% of budget. The costs are driven by expenses and encumbrances for fuel, road salt, equipment parts, and road paving. The current library expenditures are $2,389,000, or 85.5% of budget. Expenses in the sewer fund of $3,087,000 are below budget at 70.3%, with actual expenditures equating to $2,921,000 and encumbrances at $166,000. Stormwater drainage expenses are approximately 58% of budget, a total of $549,000. The general fund has received revenue of $23,988,000, or 90.8% of budget. Real estate tax of $12,007,000 has been collected. The town has recorded 8 months of sales tax revenue in the amount of $4,754,000, or 83.4% of budget. The AIM payment of $613,000 has been received, and recreation receipts of $650,000 represent 110% of budget. Other sources of revenue received is at 116% of budget. At month end, the library has confirmed revenue of $2,811,000, or 100.6% of budget. 75.2%, or $4,908,000 of highway revenue has been received. The sewer fund has received 99.3% of its revenue at $4,330,000. Stormwater drainage has verified 99.6% of budgeted revenue, $884,000. Regarding the entire town, $38,123,000, or 90.1% of revenue and appropriated fund balance have been received to date. Approximately $18,260,000 is from real estate tax. In addition, American Rescue funds of $22,455,000 have been received. To date, approximately $19,720,000, or 87.8%, has been allocated to projects. Of the allocated funds, approximately 55% have been expensed. The breakdown there is 45.8% actual expenditures and 8.9% encumbered. This concludes the financial report for the month of November 2023.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments on the financial report?
No, just thank you, Diana, for sharing your voice tonight.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, take a motion to accept the financial report.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this financial report has been accepted. We'll move on to minutes. Madam Clerk?
November 9th, 2023, the special town board meeting, public hearing.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
I abstain, wasn't present.
Okay, we will, those minutes have been approved. Next minutes.
November 14th, the special town board meeting to adopt the budget.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed say nay.
I abstain because I was not present.
Okay, these minutes have been approved. Next item.
November 14th, the workshop meeting.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
I abstain because
Okay,
I was
this
not
resolution
present.
has been adopted. Next item.
November 21, the regular town board meeting.
Okay, motion to approve.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
I abstain because I was not present.
Okay, these minutes have been adopted. Next item.
Items for board action.
Yes, please.
Item number 3, resolution authorizing the appointment of a planning board member.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. A member position has become available on the Arundequoit Planning Board. After interviews were conducted, town staff and Labella recommend Mr. David Rosso to serve a 5-year term from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028.
Okay, anyone have any questions or comments?
I have more of a comment.
Yeah.
It is customary that these appointments happen at this time, and I appreciate the board and the supervisor for going forward to make these appointments.
Okay, thank you. I will also mention that these are independent interviews. The board does not serve at the pleasure of the supervisor. They serve the town. Also, as you go through, I don't know who's here tonight and who's not. You'll see a very diverse group, both from many different backgrounds. So I strongly disagree with what was mentioned in public input. The interview committee did a great job, chose the best candidates, and ended up with a very diverse group and very representative of our community here in town. So thank you to them for their work and efforts in bringing these names forward. Okay, anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Is he present tonight? No? Okay, next item.
Item number 4, authorizing the appointment of a planning board member.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary?
A member position has become available on the Arundecoit Planning Board. After interviews were conducted, town staff and Labella recommend Mr. Dan Janosch to serve a 7-year term from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2030.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Supervisor, I believe Mr. Yanish has been serving on the Conservation Board for a number of years, and I think he's an excellent candidate. Thank you, Mary.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Is Dan here tonight? No? Okay, next item.
Item number 5, authorizing the appointment of a planning board member.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary?
A member position has become available on the Arundecoit Planning Board. After interviews were conducted, town staff and Labella recommend Ms. Shelley Hafner to serve a 2-year term from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, is Shelley here tonight? Okay, next item.
Item number 5, authorizing the appointment of a planning board member.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary?
A vacancy currently exists for an alternate member on the Arundecoit Planning Board. After interviews were conducted, town staff and Labella recommend Mr. Brad Huber to serve the term beginning January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025.
Okay, anyone have any questions or comments?
I just wanted to point out too, like the last two people, this one, their term is January to December of 2025, so relatively short term,
Yeah,
in
they're
keeping
filling.
with the rotating period that we have for the planning board. So,
Yeah, these are fill-ins of people that have stepped off, so their terms aren't the full 7 years. Yeah. Okay. And anyone else? Okay, I'll take all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 6,
Is Brad here? Brad's not here, is he? No. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
item number 6, planning board alternate member. Oh, that was,
numbers.
Zoning.
I think we just did we just do that one?
It's the
Yeah, zoning.
Zoning.
Number 7, sorry.
the zoning board, reappointing the zoning board appeals member.
Yep, zoning board of appeals vacancy, number 7. Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary?
A vacancy currently exists for a member on the Arundecoit Zoning Board of Appeals. After interviews were conducted, town staff and Labella recommend Mr. Andrew Evans to serve the term beginning January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2027.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, motion to adopt, or sorry, can I get all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Is Andrew here? Stand up, Andrew. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Welcome, Andrew. Andrew does a lot of construction. He'll be a great voice on the planning board, so, or the zoning board, excuse me. Okay, next item.
Item number 8, reappointment of a zoning board of appeals member.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary?
The current term of Mr. Bradley Upson on the Zoning Board of Appeals expires December 31st, 2023. We ask for Mr. Upson to be reappointed as a Zoning Board of Appeals member with his new term beginning January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2030.
Mary, Mr. Upson he was not there for the full term, right? He filled someone's spot. Do you know how many years he's been here?
I believe that was the case. I'm not
Yes.
sure of the number of years.
Yeah, I think just under 2 years, so, okay. All right, anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Is Mr. Upson here? No? Okay, next item.
Item number 9, authorizing the appointment of a zoning board of appeals alternate member.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary?
A vacancy currently exists for an alternate member on the Arundequoit Zoning Board of Appeals. After interviews were conducted, town staff in LaBella recommend Mr. Greg Devlin to serve the term from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Mr. Devlin here tonight. Stand up. Welcome aboard. Okay, next item.
Item number 10, approving an appointment to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Mary? Oh, I'm sorry. We have our town historian here. Come on up. Sorry, I knew you were here and everything, and I just, I was on a roll. Yep, come on up.
Get to approach them.
Come on up to the mic.
Approach the mic, sorry.
Okay, this position is a 7-year appointment. It goes January 1st of 2024, expires December 31st, 2030. And in about August, we were notified by one of the members that he was not going to seek a reappointment, left an opening on the board. So we advertised that according to the requirements, and we had applicants we interviewed. Mark Johns, the co-chair of the board, myself, and we came up with the candidate, Ann Himes. And Ann is here tonight.
Can't congratulate until we vote her in, Greg, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Anyone have any questions for Greg, our historian? Thank you for coming tonight, Greg. Appreciate it. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Ann, please stand up and welcome aboard. Okay, thank you. Next item.
Item number 11, approving and ratifying new policies and procedures for the Department of Community Development.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, is Bill taking this or Wes? Wes? Bill? Bill, go right ahead. Mr. Lang?
Sorry, Megan, I thought you were going to take
Sorry, Megan, do you want to take it?
I'm happy to take
Sorry.
it. Apologies.
Sorry, Bill, I didn't mean to
Fire
put you on the
marshal, I didn't
spot.
mean-
I saw the fear in your eyes there. I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So yes, this particular resolution puts forth new policies and procedures for the Community Development Department. Over the last 2 years, there's been a lot of work kind of tightening things up there, and the fire marshal very kindly put all of these policies and procedures together. It's a new organizational structure. There will be checks and balances, and some of the things that could have been tightened up before will be now. So That's what this resolution is for.
Thank you. Tightening up is a very nice word to use, Megan. Anyone have any questions or comments?
I just want to reach out to the back row there and say a big thank you. This was not a small task. It was something that we've been asking for a few years, and we really appreciate the time and energy that went into it. So many thank yous.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Good work.
Yeah, so obviously, great job by our staff. We also had the pleasure of some other towns offering their services to us. They came and spent time here, helped our community development office, and we appreciate both our staff and other towns' efforts to assist up there in what was quite a mess, for lack of better terms. So this gives us the town and its residents a much clearer path forward for permits and other processes up there in the community development. Also, consistency with our process, which has been lacking and non-existing. So thank you to all of them. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Aye,
Nay.
sorry.
Okay, this item, or this, Peter, you're...
I was an aye, I'm sorry, my
All right,
mic
okay.
was off. And
That's all right.
I just slowed to the button, sorry.
That's all right. This resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 12, adopting a local law to establish a moratorium on short-term rentals.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll let the town attorney handle this one.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. People who have been kind of following this for the last several months understand that in November, there was a public hearing on establishing a moratorium for short-term rentals. The moratorium would kind of pause things for a year, so there couldn't be any new registrations for short-term rentals for the next year. That allows the board and town staff some breathing room to really spend some time developing regulations, if any, that make sense for short-term rentals in this town. So again, it just kind of puts things on pause. The reason it wasn't adopted back in November was because we were waiting on input from Monroe County, and that input, they came back and said it's really a local matter, so they're deferring to the town board.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, so we are,
Work to do.
yeah, so LaBelle and our staff is working on this as well. Once it's established, with obviously input from new administration and new board, it'll come to a public hearing where the public will be aware of what the code looks like, and you can come and, the public can come again and give input on their thoughts on the code before it's brought forth. So with that, anyone else?
Mr. Supervisor,
Yep.
can I just add a little bit to that?
Sure.
So when there's a hot topic, you tend to get really excited about it. You want to talk about it, you show up, and you have a voice in the room. But I just want to remind everyone that democracy is about everyone's voice in the room. And it's really important that you fill the seats and that you come and that you speak whenever you have a concern about anything moving forward. And it's been super helpful to get the feedback from residents because we can't make decisions in a vacuum. We're here to serve you. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 13, accepting a letter of credit for Aldi, Inc.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Wes, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Is this on? I think maybe. Yeah, just for your introduction here, the letter of credit is being established as a result of an approved site plan by the planning board. And the $111,356 will basically cover the town's interest in terms of erosion, sediment control, landscaping, sidewalk, and accessible ramp improvements. So what this does is it assures that the developer is going to adhere to what the planning board approved with regard to these particular elements. And should the developer walk away from the site and the site not be completed for whatever reason, the town has a financial guarantee here to go reestablish the site, plant grass, and that sort of thing. And also with the landscaping, to be sure that all of the landscaping is included prior to a C of O and then also the sidewalk and accessible ramps, those are actually in the town's right-of-way. So we want to be sure that those pieces are put back together the way they should be. And then in the end, this town board will hopefully provide a release on that letter of credit so that, you're assured that the construction was done in conformance with the approved plan. Any questions?
Yes. So this has been in our code and not done for the last few years, correct?
That's correct. I can't say for certainty the amount of time, but I would suspect it seems like it's been maybe at least a decade since a financial guarantee has been required.
And this protects the town, hypothetically, if a developer decided to do whatever they wanted to do, we wouldn't have to go to a lawsuit. We could just, you have that money and they would actually have to follow the rules, correct?
Yes, because the developer wouldn't want the town to draw on their letter of credit from the bank. Exactly.
Right. So instead of spending money on a lawsuit, we have this money.
Yes.
And this type of letter of credit's not unique to Arundecoit. It's
No, this is definitely done in other municipalities. It's very common for development. Yeah.
I'd say it's standard operating procedure for most people.
Yeah, it's been ignored in the town for over a
Correct.
decade.
We wouldn't be where we were today if we followed this.
Correct. Yep. So if proper things were done in the past, things would be much better, and we've gotten back to that over the last couple projects. I think this is the second or third time we've collected this credit, and it's a protection for our town and our residents and for the developer. So thank you, Wes, for doing that, and thanks to our Community Development Department for going back to following our code and following the rules and keeping it consistent. Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So all opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. It is now 7:35. We'll move on to our 7:37. We'll move on to our first public hearing. I will take, do you want a motion to open the public hearing?
Moved.
Can I get a second?
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The hearing is now open. Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, could you just inform what the first public
Yes.
hearing is about?
This public hearing is on the matter of rezoning a portion of tax ID number 091.07-1-96.2 from R4 Residential to C Business District.
Okay, thank you. Hi, could you state your name and,
Yep. Good evening. My name is Brian White. I'm a licensed land surveyor from McMahon LaRue Associates,
okay,
representing the applicant and owner of property at 1700 Hudson Avenue. The applicant is seeking to sell a portion of property at 1700 Hudson Avenue to the adjoining Ridge Hudson Plaza. I have the map in front of me, if you have that as a reference. The applicant's seeking to transfer approximately 0.82 acres of land from the northerly parcel to the Ridge Hudson Plaza. Currently, the property to be conveyed is zoned R4 residential, and they're looking to seek rezoning to C commercial to align with the current zoning of the plaza. At this point, they're strictly looking at the land conveyance component of this, but the purchasing party, being the owner of the plaza, is seeking this conveyance to accommodate additional parking for that property. It's intended to go behind the parcel and it will be used for employee parking, and the customers will be able to park in the front area at the plaza. We did go in front of the planning board on the 19th and received a positive referral. There were a few concerns related to site planning, such as stormwater runoff and dimensional setback requirements. That's something that we haven't addressed at this point until we receive feedback on the rezoning.
okay, thank you. And I will let any board members ask any questions at this time?
My question is still kind of hangling out there. I was very concerned about stormwater myself, and I wanted to know what the percentages currently were for pervious versus impervious surface and what you intended that this build-out would create, because I think stormwater management in that area is very concerning to a lot of people.
Certainly, as the land surveyor, we haven't, or I should say the purchaser hasn't hired an engineer yet to review the site planning phase. It's our understanding that that'll be addressed to the planning board, contingent on this approval. I do have on this plan some of the existing zoning requirements. I can verify that. This is going to refer to the plaza parcel, pending this approval. Impervious coverage, let's say impervious area for the plaza parcel is currently, or I should say zoning code requires 80%. As it is today, I would say it's nearly 100% with the pavement and the building. Pending this approval, it would go down to 80%.
Excuse me, but although the percentage would go down to 80%, we're adding impervious surface. And the residential zoning is not the same, so the bottom line is we can kind of play with the numbers, but we're adding impervious surface there. I would definitely need to see some more clarity.
If they park
before.
back there, it's going to go back up to 100% or nearly. I mean, it's not going to, right now you're saying it's going to 80 because there's no parking there, it's just grass.
Correct. And we, again, as the land surveyor, we haven't investigated what the potential build-out could be for a parking area. The owner at 1700 Hudson Avenue is just looking to sell that portion of property to the plaza.
I don't want to take away from you if you're finished, but.
No, go ahead.
So, this plaza stands as is, permitted, zoned, parking requirements in place with adequate and appropriate parking for the current uses. But this owner is looking to transfer this because they deem a deficiency in parking currently there?
So I do have.
And I know you're not the engineer, you're just a land surveyor, and you may not have all these questions, but, without a real demonstrated parking structure that shows that there's a deficiency, I don't see how the justification for additional parking along the rear, especially that in my opinion, for employee parking, which this is, a pretty significant area for employee parking, and that, maybe if we're putting in a call center or something like that some parking would be deemed necessary in the back like that, where I think, is a fairly remote and, distant area from the proximity of the front entrances to all those buildings, that I don't think there's enough documentation to show why there's a need for additional parking.
Yeah, I can't answer that to the fullest extent. I did reach out to the potential buyer of the plaza, and they do express that there's currently 4 large vacancies within the plaza, and they've had a few potential tenants looking at that as a commercial space, but they ultimately decided not to proceed due to their concerns for lack of parking. And I have that documentation in the email I'd be happy to share at this point. They're seeking, their target is to seek 50 additional spaces.
To me, it's chicken and egg argument, and I don't know if I want the chicken or the egg first, but I'd rather see the tenants that are going in there to demonstrate a need for the parking, and then maybe we could address it rather than just giving something over for parking, and then on the if come, then we just have, a piece of land, which I realize is landlocked at this point a bit, but as dedicated for parking for, no changes in uses in the plaza. And, I've been in there ever since, there was the steak and whatever it was, and the sporting goods store, and all of those things were
Never full.
Wide open, and there was never a significant parking issue there. I frequent Rookies, relatively go to Halal and Out. There's tons of parking in there. It's never occupied, at any of the peak times. And it also depends to me too. At one point the auto repair, the tire store was looking to be a laundromat, which I think is a low demand parking, but
We just don't know. The good news is, all we're going to do is have a public hearing tonight.
Right.
We don't have to make a decision, so
I'm
it
just
sounds
saying
like there's a lot more information that we need to have
Right.
presented.
Right.
Are you looking more for a concept sketch of what could be proposed in that area with potential coverage?
I want to demonstrate a need.
Yeah.
A need.
Okay.
You're asking us to take the only pervious surface left around there, that residential property, which has a very different zoning code,
Yep.
and turn it into blacktop, keeping in mind that that is south of the beginning of all kinds of stormwater issues, and I'm sure that if I wanted to ask Commissioner McGee, she'd be able to recant a bajillion stormwater issues. So there has to be like an incredible reason to do this, and we're just not seeing it.
Okay.
I mean, to me, if there was some sort of letter of intent from a potential leasee saying that, you know, if this happened, we would rent. I mean, but there's nothing right now, and there's no.
I do have a letter of intent from the attorney of the purchasing party stating that it would be used for parking, but I don't have a letter from a potential tenant requesting that need for parking.
All right, so we've asked, Peter, you've asked for a letter, or one letter, or two letters. One you have, if you could send that along. And then if you could.
And the need. Really, we have to
need, yeah.
demonstrate legitimate need. And then I would also want Commissioner McGee to be part of this conversation. I know that the planning board said whatever they said, and we can't trump what they said, but that doesn't mean that that was the right decision. I think we really have to take a deeper look at this.
Well, you know, planning and zoning code is such that the square footages and the uses, you could go and take area calculations, demonstrate how many parking spots would be required based on the presumed uses of the building. And then you could take and document how many parking stalls are on site and say if there is or isn't a deficiency. And, you know, very often, parking is designed for Christmas, if you will, and not necessarily the ordinary uses that occur every day, you know, in and out. And I just, you know, before we start adding more parking without a demonstrated need other than just like the IFCOM, I'm going to be reticent and
And I'd like to
considering
reiterate,
this.
any proposed development, if we don't meet the pervious requirement, you know, we'd have to go in front of the zoning board. And again, because this is the C business, we'd have to go to the planning board for any type of site plan approval.
Understood, understood. But you're talking about apples and oranges between the residential and the commercial, which is why you need to get there. I
a lot of these
definitely need more information.
plazas are going to, like, I'm not advocating for it, but, you know, indoor storage facilities, which basically have no parking requirement. And then, you know, we're going to take a spot, admittedly it's landlocked, that, and just say now it could be parking for no good reason.
Other than to stress out Commissioner McGee.
Okay, thank you. Wes, is there anything you'd like to add on this, or anyone have questions for Wes while he's here?
Sounds like everybody understands, but just to clarify for anybody who's in the public who might not understand. So the planning board, yes, did take a look at this rezoning application and provided a recommendation for rezoning to the town board. So although they provided a positive recommendation suggesting that, yeah, we're okay with the town board with rezoning the property, they did convey concerns about stormwater and the amount of impervious surface. So I think those sentiments are also or were recognized and were stated at the last planning board meeting, or I guess it was about a week ago, not last night's meeting. And so what the town board, as you know, what's being asked of the town board is just to amend the zoning map, and I understand you all get that. So I think that's all I have. If anybody has any questions, happy to answer. And I guess the seeker review, right?
Yeah.
One of the other items that I talked with the town attorney on is that because these actions are very different, one is legislative in terms of amending the zoning map, we suggested, in this case, segmenting the seeker review so that a seeker review on this would be simply whether, you know, considering the zoning map amendment, the town planning board will also do their own separate seeker review and take a very careful look at, you know, the impervious surface, the stormwater, that sort of thing as well. So.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any? Good. So Wes, thanks for coming tonight. I just want to say thank you to Wes. and LaBella. They've been a great partner over here the last 2 years. We've worked closely on many, many different areas, and I consider many people at LaBella my friend, and look forward to working with LaBella in the future. So it looks like there's a good possibility of that. So I look forward to that, and I thank you and everybody at LaBella for all the hard work that you guys have done all the year, and it was great to know you guys, and I'm happy to know that there's a possibility that we could intersect here in the future. So thank you. All right, with that, we'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, and we will hold off on the item for board action for this public hearing. And we will, Madam Clerk, please call the next public hearing.
The second public hearing is on the matter of authorizing the placement of a traffic control device at Keswick Road.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Okay, the hearing is now open. We do not have anybody registered, but I do see a member of the public peeking up in the back there. And please come forward and state your name and address. Dan, you're the one? Yep. I assume you're the neighborhood spokesperson here tonight.
Well, no one else showed up, so.
Just your name and address, Dan. Thanks.
My name is Dan Dwyer. I live at 167 Orchard Park Boulevard. I have lived there for about the last 32 years. So, longtime resident, very familiar with the intersection, very familiar with the street from that longtime tenancy. Relative to this proposal, over the course of the last, I'd say 5 years or so, the neighbors along the street and the cross streets have continually voiced concern about both the increase in volume along the street, lots of folks heading down to the park and down to the marinas, as well as the speed level that we're observing on the street. More specific is the after dark street level. We've noticed and observed an awful lot of activity at the bottom of the hill, at the end of Orchard Park, where there is a unofficial boat launch. So in observing that, we gathered as a community 3 times since June. One of those times, we actually invited and got a response and a visit from both the supervisor as well as the police chief, weighing in our concerns relative to the speed on the street and what we may do about it. There was lots of discussion, lots of conversation, and some different suggestions. The addition of more street speed limit signs was asked for and has been granted and taken care of. Additionally, there was a thought, should we look to consider speed bumps or recommend asking for them? But the nature of the street really doesn't serve, that wouldn't serve the purpose very well because of the number of trailers and boats that come down that street on a regular basis. It would really kind of wreak havoc. So the suggestion was a stop sign. The neighbors discussed it. I don't know of anyone who's objected to the idea. There was some discussion about where it would fit best. The cross street of Keswick is the one that we think as a neighborhood, it's on the way down. It's just before the turn, coming off the stop sign as it's proposed. The turn would continue to keep the speed down a little bit, we think and hope. And so we'll look to see if that'll be the case. But as a neighborhood, we've had a discussion about this particular item and think it would be very beneficial for the neighborhood.
Dan, could you just let the board know how many people, about 40 to 60 people participated in these meetings on and
The
off?
first one had about 20, and then the second 2 meetings averaged more than 50 people. One
Yeah.
had 60 folks.
That's because Chief was there. They all came to see Chief.
Yeah, they heard about the chief.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So it was all about the concern about lots of different activities in the neighborhood that we've not observed previously. But the one that this particular item addresses is the excessive speed on the street, the uptick in volume, and in particular, the speed that was observed. In fact, we requested in, I think, the second meeting, that a speed monitoring device be placed on the street, which it was. And it was the third meeting where the chief was present and gave us the results from that was in place for about 10 days or something like that. And he was blown away by the fact that even though the speed limit on the street is 30, He observed the machine recorded several speeds in excess of 60, and it was, I think, more than 60% of the registered speeds over the speed limit. So he was pretty surprised. I don't know if it was 60 or higher than 60, but at least 60%. He was quite surprised by that percentage.
Okay, thank you, Dan, appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak on this? Chief, would you like to give any input from what you heard and saw?
No, I think obviously Mr. Dwyer was quite eloquent in his speech. Quite frankly, the stop signs probably are the best method that we have to, I guess the term is traffic calming. And so having a three-way stop sign all the way is going to be, especially with the lighting there, lighting down there at night is non-existent. Only thing that ever off the houses. So as far as safety for anybody even crossing the street or actually, coming off of Keswick Road, I think it's definitely needed there. So
thank you.
I think it's the best thing we can do.
Okay, I'll open up for discussion. Any board members have anything to add?
I just wanted to make a comment to Dan. I just wanted to say, not to be redundant, but thank you for coming. Thank you for representing your neighborhood. Thank you for the organization to get those voices together. I'm just going to reiterate, we need you. We need everyone here so that we can make good decisions. So thank you.
I mean, adding stop sign, I'm certainly sure the speeders in your neighborhood, they're probably people that don't live there, I would imagine, right? Number two, where I live, we had a two-way stop and it went to a four-way stop over a while ago. It does make a big difference. So, thank you for all your hard work, the chief and the supervisor, for looking into this. And I mean, there hasn't been a stop sign there ever. So I think it'll make a difference. Hopefully people will slow down, but usually it's not the people that live in the neighborhood that are going down there 60 miles an hour. So hopefully it will make a difference. So thanks for your hard work as well too, Dan.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, board members and public, with the road, it's a cut through. There is a Monroe County Park at the end of it or at the bottom of it. So there's hikers, bikers. There's a brand speeders. There's a brand new or more improved boat launch. There's a brand or improved marina. The gun club or the sports club is down there. Fish and game club is down there. So you have a large amount of people coming in and out of that area. It's also a wide street, which gives people a false sense of safety. I think this is the best option that we can give to them so far, and we're hopefully get this stop sign up for the residents. Anybody else? Okay, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, could you now move on to the public hearing item for board action?
A resolution authorizing the placement of a traffic control device at Keswick Road.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, does anybody need any additional explanation?
No, sir.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Commissioner McGee, I assume you're in charge of getting that stop sign up, just so Mr. Dwyer can pass it on to the concerned residents. His time frame for something like this?
Oh, no, yeah, we'll be able to get a sign in pretty quickly.
It's supposed to warm up too, right?
Exactly.
So, okay. All right. So pretty soon's the answer, Mr. Dwyer. You got that. In government, we're not sure what that is, but that'll be hopefully here by the end of the week or sometime next week. So that's good. Okay, perfect. All right, we will return back to items on the agenda.
Item number 14, allocating funding and authorizing the purchase of flooring and installation for the Arundequoit Police Department.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Comptroller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution will allocate $8,242 from general fund balance to replace the flooring at the police department and the roll call room. The quotes came in, and it has been decided to go with Bayside Flooring, as they were the only ones to provide a commercial-grade quote.
Okay, anyone have any questions or comments?
Chief, you picked out the color?
I have not picked out the color yet, sir.
All right, if anybody's been over there, they know it's quite worn down and,
Carpet's about 30 years old.
yeah, they've been asking for a while, so. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 15, allocating American Rescue Plan Act funding.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Comptroller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would allocate $100,000 of American Rescue Plan funding to our Neighbors Home, which is a nonprofit agency within the town, to provide temporary housing for Arundequoit residents.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to add that this is, was brought up with talking with some other local politicians and school districts, a need for this type of housing. It's transitional housing for Arundequoit residents and members of the school districts who are temporarily without homes. So there would be a limit to how long they could stay in there. There'll be a small fee. But with talking to the school districts, surprisingly, Arundequoit at times faces several families that are homeless, and oftentimes these families are separated or moved out of town. At the time, there was a family living in Canandaigua that was attending East Ridge High School. So then the school is responsible for going out all the way out to Canandaigua, picking that student up, bringing them all the way to East Arundequoit until their home situation is figured out. So I think it's important to keep this local and for Arundequoit families, which will be this non-for-profit's objective. So I know there was a situation of infestation on the west side that the family was going to be out of their house for 6 months. So this is just an opportunity for them. So any questions or comments?
I have a quick question for the comptroller, and I think I already know the answer to this, but I'm just going to ask you, so I asked on the dais. This was all approved by the Bonadeo Group, correct?
I'm sorry, Kimmy.
Oh, this expenditure was okay with the Bonadeo Group when you
Yes,
looked
it
at
is.
Thank you.
Has been
Sorry.
approved.
We need to make this girl some tea.
All right, any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 16, amending the 2023-2024 Arundequoit Community Development Block Grant Program to allocate funds.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Comptroller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution kind of goes with the previous resolution. Last year, the town sold the Pine Grove building. Since CDBG funds were invested in the property, those funds had to be returned to HUD and were recorded on the system as program income. That money needs to be reutilized for CDBG eligible areas or projects. This resolution would allocate $214,500 from that program income to the housing facility we just spoke about.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Well done.
Yeah, so this just
Where
goes
is
to,
this facility?
this is the old Arundequoit food cupboard.
Okay.
Yep, so it's a tough building for any sort of, reuse, and a perfect spot for what the town's gonna be using it for.
It seems like an excellent idea.
Yeah, so it's, like I said, this is for Arundequoit families that are attending school here in Arundequoit, and again, it'll be surprising, the numbers. I think both schools start with, the number was extremely high of homeless in the beginning of the year, so most are found. I think it was up to 40 per district are considered somewhat homeless in both East and West Arundequite. So obviously this isn't going to fit 40 families, but the ones in need. So pretty good thing for these families in the town. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 17, authorizing a spending plan for American Rescue Plan Act funding.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Comptroller.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would allocate additional funding to the Camp Eastman project and the backyard project. The bids were received this week, and this additional funding is necessary to cover the jobs.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 18, adopting an amendment to the lease for the Arundequite Community Center.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, who's handling this? Town attorney?
I'd be happy to address that, Mr. Supervisor. So the, as the board well knows, there's been some confusion around the processes for reimbursement for utilities for the community center. Because of course, you know, the landlord has meters and then charges us back, and sometimes the timing of it makes it awkward. So this particular resolution would allow an amendment to the lease for the community center that would, number one, just clarify that the town has paid all of the construction-related charges for utilities and other things. And then number two, it sets forth a more predictable way for the town to pay for the utilities. So,
Again, this takes care of all the outstanding balances, questions in the lease, cleaning.
yes, that is exactly right.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments?
And Mr. Supervisor, I'm assuming, but I have learned to never assume, that this has all been discussed with the landlord and the landlord is agreeable to this, and so we're just codifying it.
Yeah, so as you all know, I inherited quite a mess up at the community center. So leases, payments, CAM charges, none of that was completed, done. There was unpaid fees, there was unpaid charges, there was questionable charges. So we've been working on this for 2 years, and we've had a good relationship with the landlord, and been able to work all this out. And he's agreeing. He's in agreement. He was very generous in some of the areas. Some of the areas that the people that were here during the process didn't think we should pay for. So he is anxious to clean the slate, start new, and this is a good thing for the town and good thing for the new administration to be starting fresh and not have to inherit any of this. So, yes. So to answer that in a long-winded way, yes, the landlord is in favor and happy to get this straightened out and move along.
Thank you.
He has some big plans up there, and I'm sure you'll all be hearing about it, soon. So.
Thank you for your work
You got
on
it.
this.
Going forward too, we still have an audit committee that goes in there and, right?
Yep.
On our behalf and make sure that everything's set up and we're paying the right amount and everything like that too. Because I remember that was something we made sure that we had to do, have an auditor in there and the checks and balances on our behalf, so. okay,
Yeah,
very
just
good.
a reminder, the public was informed that camp charges would be between $18,000 and $36,000. They are closer to $400,000 a year. So, yes, so we definitely have those audited and need to be combed through and make sure that everybody's correct. So,
Okay.
all right, any more questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 19, authorizing the purchase of drones to be used by the Arundecoit Police Department.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief?
Yeah, this is actually to replace the old drone that we have. This is going to have all the technology to have everything be able to fly in inclement weather. Right now, we can't put a drone up there in this weather here. And obviously, being the Northeast, we have a need for it for crime scene preservation. We could have used it 2 times last week looking for a missing person out inside the old subway bed. So it's obviously going to be having thermals on it, have night vision, have everything that we can use as far as, like I said, crime scene preservation and also rescue, especially with all the wooded area in our town.
Okay, any questions or comments for the chief? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 20, authorizing attendance at the Supervisor Leadership Institute.
Motion to adopt.
Moved?
Second.
So we got a motion and a second, all in one there? Okay. All right, perfect. Move this thing along. All right. Chief?
Yes, this is actually part of the FBI Supervisor Leader Institute, and so we're going to be sending 2 of my first-line supervisors there to obviously get a perspective. It's going to be hosted by the Syracuse Police Department, but the FBI instructors are part of the curriculum, so it's actually going to be a week-long school and give a chance for get some outside perspective and actually broaden the horizons some of our newer frontline supervisors.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments for Chief? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 21, authorizing attendance at Dago Law Group's year-long supervisor monthly online training.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief?
Again, this is part of my ongoing effort to try and make sure that my supervisors, the actual whole command staff, has year-long updated training. This will be put on by the Dago Law Group out of Connecticut. They pretty much have a countrywide stellar reputation, and so it'll be training for each supervisor. It'll be able to do it at their own pace as their job allows them to. They can come back and finish it, and each month we'll be updating on legal cases across the country that affects what we can do for our job, and also be ethical training, everything else that supervisor will need to make some decisions on. So it's obviously worthwhile.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for getting the police all this training. Anyone have any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. This resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 22, authorizing the purchase of 2 2024 Ford Police Interceptor SUVs to be used by the Arundecoit Police Department.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief?
Yes, this is a regular budgeted item. Obviously, we try to replace a couple vehicles each year, and this is just a way for us to, keep our fleet in a safe and working condition. Also, it's cost-effective, even though the cost of a new vehicle is obviously not cheap. It's a lot cheaper to actually put a newer vehicle out there for the cost of repairs as it is. So it's just a way to keep the fleet up and running and in a safe manner.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. This resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 23, authorizing the purchase of 1 2023 Dodge Durango Pursuit all-wheel drive to be used by the Arundecoit Police Department's K-9 unit.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Chief?
Sure, this is to complement the second, or the actually first vehicle that was donated by Vision. This one we were able to find state contract. It's a police package Durango, and that way we'll have 2 Durangos, and they will be pretty much the only Durangos we have for the canine fleet. And so right now we just need to purchase it, and we can start ordering the equipment. And obviously we have the canine school starting in March, so it's a flurry of activity to try and get these vehicles up and running and safe for the dogs.
Okay, thank you. This matches the one we just got for donation?
Correct.
Pretty close.
Actually, it's a year younger.
Year younger.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 24, allocating funding for equipment to be used by the Arundecoy Police Department and authorizing the emergency purchase of equipment.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief.
Yep, this is to replace the fire panel inside our dispatch area downstairs. The fire panel that's in there right now is original, so it's about 30 years old. It's an analog system, and I think the fire marshal will be able to tell you it doesn't work. So we get false alarms all the time, and obviously if there's a fire in the location or actually something faulty in the system, we wouldn't be able to tell, quite frankly, where it is. So this is just to try and keep the building safe, and actually, in this case of emergency, nothing serious happens.
Okay, thank you. I hope we're getting a different one than Skyview's got. I'm sure some of the people in the back would agree with that. I don't know what they have up there, but hopefully this one works better than up there. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 25, authorizing the purchase of 2 K9 inserts for the Arundecoy Police Department's K9 unit.
Motion to adopt.
Moved?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief.
Yes, this is, spoke to, it's actually a cage that actually goes into the back of the vehicle. It allows for the safe transport of the dogs, also keeps them inside. I just read an article in California, an officer who was struck by a drunk driver. His canine vehicle went actually down rocks down a slope and actually crashed, and the dog only received like a small cut like on the front of his face. But without that cage, that dog would have rolled around inside the vehicle and, quite possibly probably would have been killed without that. So they're a needed piece of equipment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 26, authorizing the purchase of 2 K9 hot and pop pro combination temperature alarm and deployment systems for the Arundecoy Police Department.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief.
Yes, this is, again, equipment needed to keep the dogs safe. It serves 2 purposes. It monitors the temperature inside the vehicle. If it gets too hot or too cold, the doors will actually pop open, so let the dog escape so that they don't die inside. Also, it serves to alarm. It's an alarm that actually sends it to the canine handler. So if he's inside anywhere else while the dog's out in the vehicle, they will allow the handler to know that there is an emergency inside the vehicle. Third thing it does is if the canine handler is out by himself and fighting with the suspect, he will be able to remotely activate the door to release the dog to be able to back him up.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 27, authorizing the award of a contract for towing services extension.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Chief.
This is actually not an adoption, it's actually a continuation of the towing contract we've had for the last 3 years. We are hoping to have the extension or the addition of our impound lot actually completed. Plus we wanted to make sure that we were able to keep the vehicles here instead of actually going over to Christo's Towing so that we can collect his impound fees, keep the fees here in town. Once we get that in place, hopefully within the next 6 months, the backyard project and everything will be concluded, and then we'll be able to amend and actually have this new contract in place. We already had the RFQ process in the fall for the new contract, but because the backyard project was not complete, we just have to put this on hold for at least 6 months.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Chief? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, that's right.
Excuse me, aye.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
Okay. This resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 28, authorizing the supervisor to execute an agreement for Monroe County all-seasons work in Monroe County rights-of-way.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner McGee.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution is an annual resolution, and it allows us to have the county reimburse us for work we do within the county right-of-way. The most popular service that we do for them is roadside mowing, but you can also see it includes animal pickup and roadside, other pickup in the right-of-way.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 29, awarding bid for street tree pruning.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner McGee.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would award Flower City Tree for the townwide street tree right-of-way pruning project. As I talked last week, but what this project will allow us to do is to get all of the trees to a certain level where they're not a safety hazard or, have good clearance. And what it also allows us to do is to keep our mature trees in a good shape for a longer time. And it also allows our in-house tree staff to focus on other priority projects and takedowns within town.
Okay, thank you. So I think that this kind of wraps up 2 years of great tree stuff. We obviously got an arborist now, a tree crew that's been doing well, and the need for this is obviously in Irondequoit huge. We get calls daily and about many concerns about trees, so this will jumpstart that. So for me, this is a great wrap up to 2 good years with trees here in Irondequoit, which our community is known for, and keeping the residents safe with unsafe trees. And, we see how many trees fall and branches fall during storms, so hopefully that will eliminate some of that too. So anybody else have any questions or comments?
I just want to say that I had a couple of questions at the workshop, and I know you weren't there, and you addressed them both in email and reiterated here about the number of calls that we get due to street trees and potential.
Yeah, it was ironic. I think the day you sent I replied to your email, we were getting an email about concern for a tree. So timing's everything in this world. So thanks, Peter.
And I know Commissioner McGee, you briefly covered it here about, trying to get us back to square one. And although this seems like an expense that, the per tree, or significant expense, the per tree amount is relatively light, and it allows us then to go on and maintain the trees on an ongoing basis, where right now we're just, I don't want to say we're far behind, but there's just so much maintenance that needed to be done that getting an outside contractor seemed like the best case scenario at this point. If I'm not correct, feel free to.
No, you said it perfectly. Thanks,
All right,
Peter.
thank you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Supervisor, I also
I was
wanna
waiting
add-
for you, Ms.
I know, I was
Romeo,
trying to be
down there.
quiet,
Yeah,
sir,
I knew
but
you're not going to not comment on trees.
Well, this wouldn't have happened without your leadership, number one, because these things don't happen in a vacuum. And again, this is something that I've been asking for a long time. And thank you to Commissioner McGee, and a particular thank you to Foreman Davis, who really went above and beyond to becoming an arborist, to leading up the tree crews. So anytime that somebody has a concern about spending money on something like trees, my challenge back to them would be, if we did the ROI, if we costed out what that tree did for us in terms of the canopy, of shade, of being a complete street where we have a little more control over traffic calming, all these things, the give back far outweighs the price of the tree pruning. So thank you for your thoughtfulness in this.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? John, you got anything about trees? Are you good with
No, I cut
you
all
good?
mine down at my house.
All right.
My trees get cut down.
Bitches. Perfect. All right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 30, awarding bid for landscaping services at various Arundecoit Town facilities.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner McGee.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would award Ted Hosmer Lawn and Landscape for contracted services landscaping throughout the Town Hall complex, Public Safety Building, as well as certain areas of Seabreeze Drive. This is a return to a bid that we did not do last year, but we're coming back to this for this year for certain targeted areas within town.
Okay, anyone have any questions or comments? So I guess my only question or concern is local. How many local landscapers did we get this out to? I know we had one before.
We did have one before. It is out for public, it's a public bid, so it's out, but, I'm trying to think, a couple local ones.
And the one that was interested or did it before did not respond to the
Correct,
to the
he did not.
request?
Yeah.
Okay. And do we know why? Or I'm sure they weren't happy that we didn't use them last year, but, okay. All right, anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 31, awarding a bid for Camp Eastman Phase Project and Town Hall Backyard Project.
Okay, I'm gonna before I take this to motion, I'm gonna let the town attorney, this is the one, town attorney, touch on this before we move forward.
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So with this particular resolution, there's a couple different projects that are being considered. We have to tie up one loose end with seeker for one of the projects, with the backyard project, which we anticipate with the help of the town engineer that we'll be able to do very shortly. So it would be my recommendation that this resolution not go forward at this time.
Okay, so sorry.
Special meeting next week, hopefully it'll be done and we can move forward with it.
If the
Okay.
board is so inclined, I think probably a special meeting next week would work timing-wise.
So we use the word shortly again. So we hope to have that
That's a dangerous
done
word.
by the end of the week here and then move for a special next week.
Next week to
That's my
adopt.
plan.
Okay.
All right, perfect. These are great projects going on in town, so I look forward to closing this one last gap up and
So do you need a motion to table it, or we're just going to let
just
it go?
legally, do we need a motion to table it?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to next item.
Number 32, authorizing the town to enter into an access agreement with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner McGee?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This access agreement is for New York State DEC and the town for them to come and do a site investigation at a piece of town property on Newport Road that was a former landfill. So thanks to the town attorney, Megan, and some of her associates worked on this to get a couple conditions put in and, protect the town and, indemnify the town basically, as well as, written consent for allowing them on our property, as well as sharing of results of what they're doing when they're there. Did I miss anything, Megan?
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 33, authorizing the supervisor to enter into various contracts with vendors for youth, family, adult, group exercise, and senior recreational programming for winter, spring 2024.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Shannon?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution will allow us to move forward with a variety of instructor contracts for classes such as group exercise, martial arts, youth athletics, and dance programs at the community center beginning in 2024.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Thank you, and thank you for the hot-off-the-press brochures you gave us.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 34, resolution to enter into a new contract for emergency medical services with Arundequoit Ambulance.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Megan?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So last year, the town worked with Arundequoit Ambulance, entered a contract for emergency services within the town. Excuse me. As part of the budget for 2024, there was a certain amount allocated to continuing that relationship. This particular resolution will authorize a contract that just continues the relationship at the new price.
Expands as well.
Yes, it will expand it as well. There were certain areas that Arundequoit Ambulance was not responsible for in the last contract, but after March 14th of 2024, Arundequoit Ambulance will be responsible for additional areas.
So when we say additional, this is the whole town?
With the exception of, is it the
Seabreeze District, yep.
District?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a big item. This is something I'm glad we got done under my time here. If anybody's following what's going on in the state, the county, city, town over, EMS service is in a disaster, and we have a good one here in town, and I think it's great here that the board has worked with Arundequoit Ambulance to see the Arundequoit ambulance mobile on all sides of town with the Arundequoit name on it. Means a lot. So this is a good one. If people don't understand what's going on, I suggest you do some research and consider yourself lucky for the way we're kind of proceeding here with the Arundequoit Ambulance. And though you don't always need them, when you do, you do. So, and they will be there. So if you see online some of the delays, I think Arundequoit Ambulance actually was one of the ones mentioned, was going 26 miles to serve chest pain or something the other night that was reported online. So I know if I have chest pain, I do not want a 26-minute wait. So I'm excited about this, and hopefully, nothing changes over the years. And it's been a privilege to work with Arundequoit Ambulance and get this service and guarantee to our residents that there will be someone on the other line when they call for help. So anyone else have any questions or comments? Nothing?
Good. They ably carried me to the hospital once when I dislocated my kneecap in the middle of a street in Arundequoit here. So thank you for your support.
All right.
Just acknowledge that those folks are here tonight.
Yeah.
They withstood the whole meeting, and they've been really diligent in continuing their conversations with us. This was not an easy project, but we got her done. So thank you very much.
They've
So I know
not only been at this meeting, they've been at pretty much every meeting where
Benny.
there's even made mention of the ambulance. So appreciate your dedication.
And Tom, you might have needed an ambulance this morning when the agenda went out with the wrong name on it. So that was just one little thing I decided to do to, make your life a little more difficult for a couple minutes. So apologize for that going out like that, but it's now corrected. So with that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Congratulations to Arundequoit Ambulance. Look forward to having you represent the whole town here in the future. So thank you. Okay, next item.
Item number 35, approving the 2024 organizational workshop and regular town board meeting schedules.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, this is pretty self-explanatory. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. We will be entering an executive session to close out the meeting, but before we go, I would just like to say thank you to all for your support. Thanks to the employees and the staff here, to the public, to the boards, to everybody that's positively contributed to the town of Arundequoit over the last 2 years. I am proud to work with everybody up here on this dais. It's been a privilege, and thank you. So,
I would like to say a couple of things, and I want to put a big thanks to Supervisor Fitzpatrick. I mean, you took on some very unpopular topics when you came on board. Obviously, the reassessment was a tough one. Our individual here down the road was a big issue. I'm glad we're getting to the point where we're getting, hopefully we can get some resolve some of the issues that are down there. We're not in a lawsuit because we want it to be in a lawsuit. You wanted to get this resolved with the problems down there, and we're headed that way. Hopefully they will get resolved. And I also want your support on the lawsuit that Ms. Romeo, myself, and the town went through. It's been a 2-year project. You supported us. You came down to New York City, and I appreciate your support there. I wish you and your family nothing but the best. And I want to thank you for being such a team player. You appointed me to be your deputy for the last 2 years. I took that very serious that you appointed me, and I appreciate it very much. And thanks for all your hard work for the last couple of years. You've changed a lot of things in the last couple of years. We're doing some projects that got your name on them, and I think the town will respect that, and I think they'll enjoy them for years to come. So thank you for that, and God bless you and your family.
thanks, John. Much appreciated. Okay, I know Ms. Romeo wants to read something into public.
Well, it's going to be tough for me to follow. So first I have to say, Mr. Supervisor, thank you for your trust, your transparency, your truthfulness always, and your undying dedication to all 50,000 residents in this town. It didn't go unnoticed, and you will be the new chapter in that book.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
But I do have something that I can just hand this to the clerk, or I can read it, but
You can read it.
there's some misinformation out there in the universe, but we all know that happens all the time. But I just felt the need to clear this up because at the end of the day, my name is everything. In fact, my father-in-law, God rest his soul, Peter, would remind me frequently that I borrowed that name. It was on loan from him to me. And so I just want this to be known. This is coming from my email, so if somebody wanted to foil it, this is actually from my town email, and this was sent out on Wednesday, the 8th of November at 2:14 p.m. to the supervisor-elect, where I begin by congratulating him on his win. I also say that as you prepare some next steps to taking office here in the town in 2024, I want to make sure that you're aware of some notebooks and other things that I have compiled over the last 2 years. As you may know, the transition of power was complex at best, and it took endless hours to pull information together for our current supervisor, much of which is essential to a smooth operation for town government. So I made it part of my mission to categorize, file, coordinate, and collect all the information that I felt was relevant, from master plans to the LWRP, to what are EPODs, fleet performance, tree inventories, old notes, countless things in between. This was especially valuable as the town began to document our green initiatives for the New York State DEC Climate Smart Communities program, something we had started over a decade ago. This living library will prove useful to whoever sits on that second floor office. The elections were yesterday, the voters decided. And now, the most important thing we need to do is to get back to governing. So please, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, or if I might be of any assistance to you in the future. I am looking forward to a smooth transition and a continued spirit of teamwork. Sincerely, Kimmy Romeo.
Thank you. And I thank the department heads who have put together transition reports. I can guarantee the new administrative is receiving a better town than I received, and I think that should be the goal of every supervisor in here town. Each department is stronger, and the transition should be well documented and very informative. So proud of that. With that, we'll enter. Oh, sorry, Peter. Sorry.
I would also like to extend my thanks for all your service here. And, for those of you that public don't know, I mean, you're just elected to the Amherst Hall of Fame and as a consummate teammate, person that was able to reach across the aisle, work together with us as a team, I think, epitomized both your career and your accomplishments here, and I appreciate all you've done for us.
Thank you. After 2 years of be calling a hockey puck and a hockey something else, that means a lot. So I took actually great pride when people mentioned that I was a hockey puck. So I knew I had them right where I want them when that's all they had. So thank you. So with that, I'll enter into executive session to discuss the employment of a particular person pursuant to Public Officers Law 105(1)(f). I'll take a motion to enter the executive session.
Moved.
Can I get a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, we'll be entering executive session. We'll be back shortly.
Fire Marshal Bill Lang and Staff Member Michelle Nichols each receive a stipend in the amount of $8.50 per hour to compensate them for their respective new job responsibilities, to be paid from budget account, and I'll have to look to the comptroller to fill that in. And such stipend will be effective as of November 29, 2023, which is when the vacancies were created. The stipend will end upon further resolution of the board.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay.
Did we get a motion?
Oh, yeah, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Can I get a second? Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. And before I go, I wanted to thank, I ran out of steam earlier, so thank Maria for all her hard work up in the office there. So thank you. I appreciate it. And Barb, it took me 2 years to call you Barb since I've known you since I was 5 years old. So I finally get to call you Barb. So thank you. Thank you. Whew. All right. This concludes our regular meeting of December 19th, 2023. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Meeting adjourned.